How you doing today? This is James Montgomery, and today we're going to have a conversation that's really close to home for everybody, and that is the cost of food. I'm down here in Indianapolis today, and earlier I spent some time, checking out food prices and going through some of the inventories and so forth because this is what I do. And I figured this was a good time for us to really talk about food. The USDA .gov they put out a report at the end of 2022, and basically what they're saying is in 2023 all food prices are predicted to increase between 3.5 to 4.5%. So that's food at home prices are predicted to increase between 3 to 4%, and food away from home prices are predicted to increase between 4 and 5%. Okay, so what does this mean for us and our pocketbooks and, basically just everything that we do on a day-to-day basis? Well, it means everything. The cost of food is part of all of our lives, I must say, and say, well, I think we can all agree that this is something that's important to all of us. In 2022, we all saw an increase in food prices across the board. Even I dare say so much as in the past year and a half, even in the cost of pet foods. And we'll have that on a later episode. But just even pet foods, have increased. The prices increase and the bag sizes have decreased, and it's also the same for human food. But being someone who has been in the food industry for a number of years, for more than 30 years, and seeing that my primary um, job and my primary business is food, and to make sure to provide the quality foods that all of us want, makes me a type of individual. This is what I do. This is my profession. All my years in the food industry. I've always known for a long time. Food costs, food costs, in the food industry. The food industry is not a it's not a sexy job. No matter what it looks like. Some of the latest data in the past few years. Since 2020. Suggests most restaurants only actually profit about between 7 and 9 cents per dollar that they make. So that's a quite a large margin. So 97% of the dollar that a restaurant makes, goes into operations and the cost of goods, and you know only 7 cents goes in the profit category, and that's a mighty steep margin, and most businesses can't operate with like that. And so case in point, between 2020 and 2021, I think some of the estimates are more than 100,000 restaurants across the country closed for good, due to the events of the past several years and so forth. So the cost of goods is top of mind for all of us. And so I say, well, James, have a conversation with everybody, and really I'm trying to, think of the best way to start, really bringing value to everybody around something that affects all of us. So when we talk about food costs and so forth, let's look at some of the fundamentals of food that to help. This is, hopefully this is a helpful episode for everybody, because I want to kind of give you a ray of sunshine. The cost of foods are going up. That's not the ray of sunshine. But what is a ray of sunshine is flavor, seasonings. Now the cost of seasonings are going up as well, but they're still relatively, decent priced, and I mean even at bulk portions and so forth. So here's the reality: the flavor of our food drives what we eat and what we want to eat on a day-to-day basis. Can we all agree with that and say, well, the taste of our food is why we eat what we eat when we eat what we eat, no matter whether you eat what you want to eat or not. I made a video earlier a couple weeks ago about why are you vegan? Myself, I'm plant-based, but I know a lot of meat eaters and meat lovers. I was once an avid carnivore, myself, and I didn't give up meat because I didn't like it anymore. I gave up meat, so I could try to heal my body, but it wasn't because I didn't like it, because I loved it. I literally loved it. I mean, it was my favorite food was meat, and so. But here's the thing, though. What I've learned over the past several years is the quality of the meat that means the most. It's the quality of the food that means the most. The seasoning and the flavoring, is second, but the quality is first. Like I was talking with someone the other day, a good friend of mine, and they have some chickens and some, and they're getting some eggs and everything. And when I ate eggs, I'm gonna tell you, my son, he provided some eggs over the past few years, and some of his in-laws did, and I'm gonna tell you, there's nothing like farm fresh eggs. If you're gonna eat eggs, farm fresh eggs is the only way to go. Once you have them, I mean, everything else is just secondary. So, but it's the quality, it's the quality. So the freshness of the eggs, the freshness of the products, that's what goes hand in hand with what we eat. And so I'm saying this because the importance of all of this is for us to really get our heads wrapped around the quality of what we're eating, and how it affects us with the cost of food right now, the way that food costs right now. Okay, so with that in mind, let's be mindful, of the fact that, the quality of what we're eating is extremely important to us. And we have to say, well, I don't want to sacrifice the quality of what I'm eating because the prices have gone up a lot. So what this means is we have to really reevaluate how we're eating, what we're eating, how much time we're spending prepping, planning, and so forth. Over the past few years, I've taken a lot of time studying a lot of different things about food that that were even new to me, even though I've been in the food industry for so long. So some of the things that I've had to think about was, okay, how many times per week am I going to prepare food? What food am I going to be able to prepare that's going to be able to stretch and so forth? So let's kind of just focus on some of the things right now that are really good staples that we can get, that are pretty from a cost standpoint. The prices have gone up, but they're still reasonably priced. Some of the things that are really still reasonably priced are fruit. Fruit. A lot of people say, I can't eat fruit and vegetables. They cost too much. Here's the reality. One thing about inflation, the price of fruit has not gone up as much as the rest of the food has. The unprepared foods are still relatively cost effective considering. And so really get used to apples. Some good old apples and peanut butter might take over for the little Debbie's, or the the things that we used to get. Instead of getting a box of Twinkies, we might get some grapes and get some oranges or so forth. Even though the prices of oranges have gone up a bit, but saying, okay, now how can I stretch without giving up the quality? But this is a time if I can't say anything, I have to say, well, this is a time when everybody's having to reevaluate how they're eating. I know, like I say, for myself, this started some years ago. And, whether you're, still eating meat, or whether, plant-based, vegan, vegetarian, whatever, are you meatitarian, or, flexitarian, or whatever tarian you are, what I'm saying? The reality of it is this is the time when you have to really stop and say, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to go out to the McDonald's and the Subway, 4 or 5 times a week like I was doing. So I'm gonna have to actually go to the grocery store. I can't just go in the grocery store hungry, because that's the worst time to go grocery shopping, I'm gonna tell you. But you can't just go in there willy-nilly. You have to start actually doing some planning, making a list, actually doing some calculations. But thank God, technology has really helped out a lot, because now you can look up an app, you can go on your phone, and you can fill up your whole grocery cart and know how the price of it and everything. And you might even go ahead and place the order on your phone, and it'd be ready for you. You've paid for it and everything, so you had a chance to curate it and everything. Don't feel ashamed to try it. I tell you what, it's a great tool. This is the time when technology and food prep go hand in hand. And this is the time to really start getting used to prepping, doing your food prep and your grocery shopping, through an app. I mean, I'm just going to encourage you. I mean, this is a perfect time. You have to say, well, what are your turnoffs from it? Well, say it costs too much. Well, it doesn't cost too much. It doesn't. Actually, if you curating from your phone, in the comfort of your own home or on the computer or whatever, you typically save more because you're actually able to check and double check, what you're spending before you spend it, and you can start to approximate instead of getting a whole bag of apples. Say, you might, say I'm only going to get 4 apples, or I'm only going to get, 3 bananas. This is, as opposed to, approximating. So when you go into a grocery store, let's just be honest, you get a bunch of bananas, you approximate, I like that bunch over this bunch. Very rarely do you take, the bananas apart and I'm only going to get 2 bananas. Some people are starting to do that more often, but rarely do you do that. Usually you pick the bunch, whether that bunch is 4, 5, 6, or whatever. But now, if you got an app, you go in there, say, I want 3 bananas. You want 3 bananas, put that in your shopping cart, keep on going. I want 1 pack of this and 1 pack of this, and you see your price, and then you have a chance to curate. Okay, let me take a banana off and let me put an apple on. This is what I'm saying. It's time to, re-engage how we think about how we're shopping. Re-engage, with, okay, we're in a new time, a new era. Okay, I know the food costs has gone up. I know, and this is, I'm talking about this subject because it affects every one of us. There's not a one of us that's not exempt from this. Let's be honest, this affects all of us. Groceries. And say, well, this is a great time to really reevaluate, how you're spending your money, how you're spending your time. So you figure like this. You go on, you go online, you go on your app or whatever, and you take, 10, 15 minutes or wwhatever. You curate a shopping cart, you go ahead and place the order, boom, bang, boom. You get a time from when you're going to go, pick it up or what have you, and no muss, no fuss. You get there, they might have some substitutions or whatever, but, sometimes, the thing I love about substitutions, a lot of times you get an upgrade on things. So that works out pretty nice. But the reality of it is, though, is you have to say, well, take a step back. Prices are going to go up. This is just economics. Let's we can't cry over that. This is economics. For some of us, we've known about this for the past few years that this is, going to happen. It's no mystery to some of us that, eggs are, $3 a carton, $4 a carton. That's not a mystery. It's no mystery to us that, a gallon of milk is, $5. It's not a mystery to some of us. Now, to a lot of folks, it is a mystery, and I understand that, and it caught a lot of people unawares. But I say to you, it's 2023 now. We have to stop being caught unawares when it comes to our groceries and saying, let me get a little proactive here. Let me, like I say, regardless of what your diet is, there are tools that you can utilize that can really help to save. This is one of them. This is probably the best one because this way you save fuel, you save, time, because the reality of it is it's better to take 10, 15 minutes at home than it is, because you're not running into a grocery store filling up a shopping cart of nothing in 15 minutes and checking out and getting back to the car and everything. You're not doing that. I'm just going to go ahead and say, none of us are doing that. And you have to say, well, the convenience factor is definitely huge. But what you're doing is let's factor it in a little bit here. You're saving time, your time, because now once you've gone through, you've placed your order and everything, now that time is open, boom, bang, boom. Now all you have to do, because you got a time, you're going to go pick it up. Okay, great. So you're saving time, you're saving, energy, because you're not running, to the gas. You're not, using fuel, prematurely. You can do it on your regular movement pattern. Say, okay, I'm going to go to, this location, and so I'm going to do this one thing and this one thing, and then pick up my groceries, and then this one thing on home, and you've already planned that out, so you've saved a little fuel because you're not making back and forth trips. Also, the convenience factor of the freshness of your product. Now, see, that's the thing. Here's the thing. When you curate your product like this, because the industry is reforming, we in the industry are reshaping the experience around your shopping for you. I'm just going to be honest with you. So with that being said, the quality of the products that you're getting is actually going up. The quality of the products that you're getting is actually increasing, because now what we're doing is we're personally curating the product that you've purchased from us and making sure that you have the best of the product that you're going to be receiving, whether you're picking it up or whether it's getting delivered to you or what have you. So now you have, you've actually, got a human partner, on the other end of your technology that's actually helping you out, to curate the best products that you wouldn't even probably pick on, yourself. Because typically, like I say, back to the, let's use the Apple analogy. Back to the Apple analogy. Now, instead of just getting a bag of random apples where you might have got a 2 or 3 that were bad in the bag, because you just pick up the bag and you keep on going. Now you're curated, I only wanted 3 apples. You're going to get the best 3 apples out of the bunch. So, count it all joy. So you got the best 3 apples out of the bunch, saved you some time. On top of that, saved you a little bit of money. Let's be honest. Now, if there's a fee for picking it up or getting it delivered, whatever, that fee is typically offset by the amount of time that you've saved, plus what you may have saved on groceries because you didn't overspend. So there's a lot of factors. So just, I just want to throw that out there and say, well, let's have a conversation, and we'll revisit this conversation a few times because, food is our passion, and we have to say, and we all need it. And so, well, just think about it, let's have a conversation, let's get in the comments, reach out to me and let's have a conversation. I'm interested to really hear from you and get your feedback. Talk to you guys later. God bless you.